The mistake that called the storm. The Deep Space Monitoring Station Vigilant Eye hung silently in the darkness, its sophisticated arrays pointed toward Sol system, recording every transmission and tracking every movement of the primitive but rapidly advancing species that called the blue-green world home. For 3 centuries, the Galactic Coalition had maintained their observation posts, watching as humans evolved from a planet-bound species to one that had begun to colonize their system. Technician Zelvax ran his 3-fingered hands over the station's maintenance panel, his violet skin reflecting the soft blue glow of the instrumentation. He had been assigned to this remote outpost for nearly a solar cycle, and boredom had long since set in. Stationed 12 light-years from Earth, his job was simple: ensure the monitoring equipment functioned properly and report any significant developments. Another day, another check. He muttered to himself, his thin lips barely moving. The Coalition's directive regarding Earth was clear: observe but do not interfere. Humans were classified as a Class 7 Deathworlder species, beings who evolved on a planet with environmental conditions fatal to most galactic citizens. Their gravity was crushing, their atmosphere corrosive, their solar radiation lethal. But more concerning than their physical attributes was their psychology. Humans were pack predators with a disturbing affinity for conflict and an alarming rate of technological advancement. As Zelvax began his routine diagnostics, he noticed an anomalous reading in the station's power grid. A fluctuation in the main reactor was causing cascade failures across multiple systems. "That's not supposed to happen," he said, fingers dancing across the control surfaces. The fluctuation grew worse, warnings flashing across his screens. Something was very wrong. "Emergency protocol," he commanded the station's eye. "Run diagnostic sequence Alpha 9. The station's lights dimmed momentarily as the AI redirected power. Warning: critical failure detected in primary power coupling. Estimated time to complete failure: 6 minutes. Zelvax felt his heart quicken. If the power coupling failed completely, the station would lose life support. He needed to trigger the emergency backup and notify Coalition headquarters. "Initiate emergency protocols," he ordered. "Prepare distress beacon." "Acknowledged," responded the AI. Distress beacon prepared. Zelvax hesitated. Protocol demanded he set the beacon to Coalition frequencies only, but if he did that, rescue would take weeks to arrive. His slender fingers hovered over the console. "Set beacon to full spectrum broadcast," he decided, violating protocol. "Maximum power. Warning: full spectrum broadcast violates Coalition Directive 37A regarding quarantine systems. This action may result in disciplinary. Override. Authorization Zelvax Theta 9. Override accepted. Transmitting distress beacon on all frequencies." As the station's systems continued to fail around him, Zelvax didn't realize the magnitude of his error. The distress call would indeed reach Coalition space, but it would also reach Earth, just 12 light-years away. And humans, unlike most species in the galaxy, had a peculiar response to distress calls. Deep within the Coalition's central headquarters on Nexus Prime, Grand Arbiter Toleran received the emergency notification with growing horror. A full-spectrum distress call. From Observation Post Delta 12. The Age Arbiter's crest rose in alarm, the feathery structure turning bright red. Who authorized this? His assistant, a slender Varaxian named Mintal, consulted her datapad. It appears technician Zelvax experienced a catastrophic system failure. He's been rescued, but the beacon transmitted for nearly 6 hours before we could deactivate it. 6 hours. Tolren's voice dropped to a whisper. The humans have undoubtedly detected it by now. "There's more, Grand Arbiter," Mintal said, her voice tight. "Our analysis indicates the beacon included the station's coordinates. If the humans investigate, they'll discover we've been watching them." Tolren finished. "Summon the High Council immediately. This is a first contact emergency." Within hours, representatives from all 27 coalition species gathered in the Grand Chamber, their faces showing various expressions of concern, curiosity, and in some cases, outright fear. The situation is unprecedented. Tolran began, addressing the assembly. For the first time in 3 centuries, we face the possibility of unplanned contact with humans. Representative Kraz of the militant Drakthar rose, his armored exoskeleton gleaming under the chamber lights. I recommend immediate military intervention. If the humans follow the signal, we must be prepared to neutralize their vessels before they discover the extent of our surveillance network. Murmurs of agreement and dissent rippled through the chamber. That would violate our most sacred principle, countered Representative Shirla of the pacifistic Lumari, her luminescent form pulsing with agitation. The coalition does not destroy emerging species. We observe, we guide when appropriate, but we do not attack. Kraz's mandibles clicked in irritation. The humans are different. You've all seen the reports. They advanced from primitive combustion engines to rudimentary space travel in less than 2 centuries. Their history is marked by constant warfare. They are dangerous. The debate raged for hours, with the Council ultimately deciding to dispatch a containment fleet to the coordinates. Their mission: retrieve any remaining evidence of the monitoring station and avoid contact with humans if possible. If contact became inevitable, they would initiate peaceful first contact protocols. What they didn't know was that it was already too late. Captain Maya Donovan stood on the bridge of the EFSA's Intrepid, Earth's newest deep space exploration vessel, staring at the message her communications officer had just handed her. "You're certain this isn't one of ours?" she asked, her dark eyes studying the data stream. Lieutenant Jameson nodded, his excitement barely contained. "Positive, Captain. The signal uses mathematical sequences that establish intelligence, but the encoding is unlike anything in our database. And the source, it's coming from just beyond the Kuiper Belt, approximately 12 light-years out." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. After centuries of searching the stars, hoping for evidence they weren't alone, humanity had received its answer, in the form of a distress call. "What does Earth Command say?" she asked, turning to her XO, Commander Chen. "They've authorized a rescue mission," Chen replied, unable to hide the awe in his voice. "The Intrepid has been designated primary responder, with the Prometheus and Odyssey as support. We're to investigate the signal and render assistance per First Contact Protocol Alpha." Maya nodded slowly, processing the historic significance of the moment. "Alert the crew. We depart in 6 hours." As preparations began, Maya retreated to her ready room, staring out at the stars. Humanity had spent generations developing faster-than-light travel, driven by an insatiable curiosity about what lay beyond their solar system. The Einstein-Rosen bridge drive had finally made interstellar travel possible, compressing space-time to allow jumps across vast distances. And now, their first journey beyond the solar system would be a rescue mission. "Captain to engineering," she said, activating her comm. "Dr. Okafor, what's the status of the ER drive?" "All systems nominal, Captain," came the accented reply. "The navigational calculations are complete. We can make the jump whenever you give the word." "And the new shield technology?" "The gravitational displacement field is untested at these distances, but theoretically sound. We should be protected from any space-time distortions during the jump." Maya nodded to herself. It wasn't perfect, but it would have to do. Someone, something, out there needed help, and humans had never been able to ignore a cry for assistance. 6 hours later, the Intrepid, flanked by the Prometheus and Odyssey, prepared to make humanity's first interstellar jump. On the bridge, Maya settled into her command chair. "All stations report," she ordered. One by one, her officers confirmed readiness. "ER drive engaged," announced her helmsman. "Coordinates locked." Maya took a deep breath. "Make the jump." The stars outside the viewport blurred as space-time folded around the 3 vessels, catapulting them across 12 light-years in an instant. When reality stabilized, they found themselves in an unfamiliar system, orbiting a distant red dwarf star. "Status report," Maya demanded, recovering quickly from the momentary disorientation of the jump. "All systems operational," reported Commander Chen. "The Prometheus and Odyssey made the jump successfully. They're maintaining formation. Location confirmed," added Lieutenant Jameson. "We're at the exact coordinates of the distress signal." "Scan for the source," Maya ordered. The bridge fell silent as the sensors swept the surrounding space. Finally, the tactical officer spoke up. "Captain, I'm detecting debris approximately 10,000 kilometers off our port bow. It appears to be the remnants of a small station or satellite. Life signs." "None detected." Maya frowned. "Bring us closer. Prepare to retrieve the debris for analysis." But before they could move, Lieutenant Jameson's console lit up with urgent alerts. "Captain, multiple contacts detected entering the system. They're massive." On the main view screen, 7 vessels appeared, each dwarfing the Earth ships. Their design was unlike anything humans had ever conceived. Organic curves blending with geometric precision, surfaces that seemed to shimmer with internal light. "Are they the source of the distress call?" Maya asked, maintaining her composure despite the sudden appearance of the alien armada. "Negative," Jameson replied. "These ships just arrived, similar to our jump signature, but using different technology." Maya straightened in her chair. "Open all frequencies. Let's introduce ourselves." As Lieutenant Jameson prepared to broadcast, the tactical officer suddenly shouted. Energy spike from the lead vessel. "They're powering weapons." "Shields up," Maya ordered, but she didn't retreat. Instead, she faced the view screen directly. "Continue broadcast. They may not recognize our technology. Let's not assume hostile intent." What Maya couldn't know was that aboard the Coalition flagship, Grand Admiral Vrax was making a fateful decision, one that would forever change the relationship between humanity and the galactic community. When Deathworlders arrive. Grand Admiral Vrax stared at the view screen, his compound eyes taking in the 3 human vessels with a mixture of fascination and dread. In all his centuries commanding Coalition forces, he had never encountered a situation like this. "They came," he said quietly, almost to himself, "just as intelligence predicted. A distress call, and they came running, straight into territory they've never visited, with no idea what awaits them." His second-in-command, Sub-Admiral Telecor, approached cautiously. "Your orders, Admiral." The Council's instructions were to avoid contact if possible. "Look at them," Vrax replied, gesturing toward the screen. 3 vessels, tiny compared to ours, yet they jumped 12 light-years to investigate a distress call from an unknown source. That's either insanity or what, Admiral? Or something we don't understand about them. Vrax turned to his weapons officer. "Power down all offensive systems immediately." The bridge crew froze, shocked by the order. "Admiral," Telcor questioned. "The Council recommended caution. These are Deathworlders. They are also a species that crossed interstellar space to respond to a distress call," Vrax replied firmly. "If they wanted conflict, they would have arrived with a battle fleet, not 3 exploration vessels." He turned to his communications officer. "Establish a link. Let's see what they have to say." Aboard the Intrepid, Maya released a breath she hadn't realized she was holding as the energy readings from the alien vessels suddenly diminished. "They're powering down weapons," reported her tactical officer. "And, Captain, they're broadcasting on multiple frequencies. I believe they're trying to communicate." "Match their broadcast," Maya ordered. "Let's see if our first contact protocols work as designed." For several tense minutes, the 2 sides exchanged mathematical sequences, universal constants that transcended language barriers. Gradually, a rudimentary translation matrix began to form. "We're establishing basic communication," Lieutenant Jameson reported excitedly. "Their language structure is complex, but our AI is adapting quickly. Finally, a voice emerged from the speakers, stilted and mechanical, but understandable. Human vessels, this is Grand Admiral Vrax of the Galactic Coalition. Your presence was unexpected. We detected the same distress signal you did. Maya exchanged glances with Commander Chen before responding. This is Captain Maya Donovan of the Earth Fleet ship Intrepid. We responded to a distress call from this location. Our intentions are peaceful. There was a pause before Vrax replied. The distress call was from one of our research stations. The technician has been rescued. Your assistance, while appreciated, is no longer required. Maya frowned slightly. Something felt off about the explanation. I'm glad to hear the emergency has been resolved. However, since we've made it this far, perhaps this could be an opportunity for formal first contact between our peoples. Another pause, longer this time. When Vrax spoke again, his tone had changed subtly. Captain Donovan, there is something you should know. The station that sent the distress call was monitoring your solar system. We have been observing Earth for over 3 centuries. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Maya's expression remained neutral, but her mind raced. They had been watched, studied like specimens in a laboratory, without their knowledge or consent. I see, she said finally. May I ask why? Earth is classified as a Class 7 death world. Vrax explained. Your species evolved under conditions most galactic citizens find lethal. Coalition protocol requires observation of such species before contact is initiated. And when were you planning to make contact? Maya asked, keeping her voice level despite her growing unease. When you demonstrated sufficient maturity. Maya couldn't help the small smile that formed on her lips. And yet here we are, having crossed interstellar space to answer a distress call from someone we didn't even know existed. Is that not a demonstration of maturity? Before Vrax could respond, Lieutenant Jameson's console lit up with warnings. Captain, 3 new vessels entering the system. They're on an intercept course, and weapons hot. On the Coalition command ship, Vrax turned to his tactical display in alarm. Identify those vessels. Drakthar warships, Admiral, responded his tactical officer. They're not responding to hails. Vrax's mandibles clicked in anger. Kraz, he hissed. He's defied the Council. The Drakthar ships accelerated toward the human vessels, weapon systems fully charged. Vrax opened a channel immediately. Commander Kraz, stand down. The Council did not authorize hostile action. Kraz's harsh voice crackled through the comms. The Council hesitates while a Death World species breaches containment. I will not allow these predators to threaten our civilization. Better to eliminate them now, before they learn of our existence. They already know, Kraz. We've established communication. Then you've doomed us all, Kraz snarled, cutting the transmission. Vrax turned to Telekor. Position our vessels between the Drakthar and the humans. We cannot allow this attack. Maya watched in confusion as the Coalition fleet suddenly began maneuvering, placing themselves between the Intrepid and the approaching vessels. What's happening? She demanded. The newcomers appear to be on an attack vector, Commander Chen replied. But the first group is protecting us. Before Maya could respond, Admiral Vrax's voice came through. Captain Donovan, you must leave immediately. Those are Drakthar warships, extremists who believe your species represents a threat. They intend to attack despite Council orders. Maya's expression hardened. We don't run from bullies, Admiral. This isn't your fight. Vrax insisted. You don't understand what you're facing. Then help us understand, Maya replied. Because we're not leaving you to face them alone. Before Vrax could argue further, the lead Drakthar ship opened fire, its energy beams striking the Coalition flagship's shields. The battle had begun. Evasive maneuvers, Maya ordered. Tactical, analyze their weapon signatures and calibrate our shields. I want defensive options only. As the Drakthar pressed their attack, focusing primarily on the coalition vessels, but occasionally firing toward the human ships. Maya made a decision that would alter the course of galactic history. Dr. Okafor, she called to engineering. The gravitational displacement field. Can we extend it beyond our hull? Theoretically, came the uncertain reply. But it's never been tested as a defensive system. There's a first time for everything, Maya said. Extend the field to encompass the coalition flagship. Let's show our new friends we can do more than run. The Intrepid's engines hummed as power redirected to the experimental field generators. A shimmering bubble of distorted spacetime extended outward, enveloping not only the Earth vessel, but also Vrax's damaged flagship just as another Drakthar blast approached. The energy weapon struck the field and simply vanished, its trajectory bent around both ships and dissipated harmlessly into space. It worked, exclaimed Dr. Okafor over the comms. But Captain, we can't maintain this for long. The power requirements are enormous. We don't need long, Maya replied, opening a channel to Vrax. Admiral, we can protect your ship temporarily, but you need to neutralize those attacking vessels. Vrax's voice held undisguised awe when he responded. You shielded us, with technology we've never seen. That's what allies do, Maya said simply. Now shall we end this together? With the Intrepid providing temporary protection, the coalition fleet regrouped and surrounded the Drakthar vessels. Realizing they were outmatched, especially against the unexpected human technology, Kraz reluctantly stood down. Hours later, Maya sat across from Admiral Vrax in the Intrepid's conference room, the first official diplomatic meeting between humanity and the Galactic Coalition. Your gravitational displacement technology is remarkable, Vrax said. Our scientists theorized such applications, but never implemented them successfully. Maya nodded. And your faster-than-light technology appears more efficient than our Einstein-Rosen bridge drive. Perhaps there's much we could learn from each other. Indeed, Vrax agreed. Though I must ask, why did you protect us? Kraz was targeting your vessels as well. You could have retreated. Maya smiled. On Earth, when someone sends a distress call, we answer. When someone needs protection, we provide it. It's that simple. Vrax studied her for a long moment. For 3 centuries, we've observed your species, categorizing you as dangerous because of your world, your biology, your history of conflict. But perhaps we missed something fundamental about humanity. Which is, that the same tenacity that makes you formidable warriors also makes you fiercely protective allies. Vrax extended a 4-fingered hand in a gesture his cultural experts had assured him humans would recognize. Captain Donovan, on behalf of the Galactic Coalition, I formally invite Earth to join our community of worlds. Maya took his hand without hesitation. On behalf of Earth, I accept. Though I suspect our entry into galactic society isn't exactly how either side imagined it would happen. No, Vrax admitted, his mandibles arranged in what passed for a smile among his species. But perhaps it happened exactly as it needed to. Sometimes, Captain, the universe has a peculiar way of bringing together those who need to meet. As the Intrepid prepared to return home with news that would forever change humanity's understanding of their place in the cosmos, Maya couldn't help but reflect on the strange sequence of events that had brought them here. A distress call sent by mistake had revealed that humans weren't alone in the universe after all. And the species who had watched them from afar for centuries were about to discover that having humans as allies was far preferable to having them as subjects of observation. The Deathworlders had arrived on the galactic stage, not as conquerors or threats, but as those who would cross the stars to answer a cry for help. The galaxy would never be the same again.